everybody, today we are here with Caroline Keating. Hi everyone! And we will be talking a little bit about voting. You know, the democratic process and kind of all of that. So let's get into it. So we'll start with, how old were you when you got to vote in your first election? I was 18 years old during my first election. And who was in that election, was that? So it was Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Okay. If you don't mind sharing, who did you cast your vote for? I voted for Joe Biden. And was there any specific reasoning behind which way you voted, who you voted for? Well, at the time, society had been really hard pressed on the conversation surrounding reproductive rights. And from what I was hearing and what I was being told, I believe that if President Trump was reelected, abortion would inevitably be banned. And I hadn't really learned much from what President-elect Joe Biden was stating, but he seemed like the safer option, as there was not as much negative light towards him. But, you know, seeing as I was a first-time voter at the prime age of 18 in one of the most important elections of my time, I was a little bit overwhelmed. But at that time, all I knew was that I was 18 years old. And if I got pregnant the day after this election, I wanted to be able to make a choice about my body and my baby. And, you know, I wanted my future daughters to also be allowed that choice. So I voted in what I thought was gonna make that happen. But, you know, so I thought. Looking back, here's a tough one. Looking back, would you change your vote if you could? Oh no, absolutely. And why is that? Somehow, some way, I, along with all the women in our country, lost their rights anyways. And you know, I made the decision to vote against my family and against our business in order to help myself, to help women, you know, to help an entire gender, yet it backfired detrimentally. Do you feel that there is anything that could have helped you make a better decision in 2020? Well, I'll say it truthfully. I could have been more educated. I could have researched more. Yet I was not the only one who had this frame of thought. A vote for Biden is a vote for women's rights. A vote for Trump is against. You know, that's kind of what everyone was hearing. That was the information we were getting. That was the information I was getting. Yet if I would have done the slightest bit of research, I would have learned that Joe Biden, when acting as senator, voted in favor of overturning Roe v. Wade once before in 1982. You know, I could have asked myself, we all could have asked ourselves, he's done it once, why wouldn't he do it again? No, he did it again. Do you feel like you were misled in any way? I feel as though we are all somewhat misled when it comes to presidential elections. It's classic marketing 101. Show the people what they want to see, hide what they don't want to know. Unfortunately, our government uses the same tactics we learned in our 1,000-level courses. It's a sad truth. Now, does this deter you from wanting to vote again? You know, I'm not gonna lie. Voting gives me a great amount of anxiety now. Yeah, it's pretty stressful. Okay, anxiety. That's a word we hear a lot nowadays. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Well, I mean, look at what's going on around us. A train with extremely hazardous chemicals just exploded. What is our government doing? Covering it up. What else? The largest proposed oil drilling project in the United States ever was just approved. And by who? The government, our president that I elected. How can I not have anxiety? You know, not only about voting, but about the state of our nation as a whole. It's existential anxiety. I think we all kind of feel it. We have Chinese balloons flying around our airspace and Russian warcraft near Hawaii and Alaska. And I have to hear all of this and somehow have confidence in who to vote for, somehow not have anxiety? Yeah, no, there definitely is a lot going on, or at least being talked about going on. Do you think that social media is a big part of this? I think social media creates another world in which facts can be shared to a wider range of people. However, you know, with that comes a world in which false truths can also be shared. And oftentimes there's a very, very blurred line between the two, you know? So then where do you think people are supposed to look for information? The question is one I haven't found an answer to, which is part of the reason I'm worried for the 2024 election. How do you feel now that we know that the next election will most likely be headlined by the same two men you voted for in 2020? Well, here I run into my same thought in 2022. I'm a woman. I want to vote as a woman for all women. Well, in 2024, that means potentially voting for Nikki Haley, who prides herself on being a new generation of leadership. In quotations. Even this statement alone gives me some peace of mind, seeing as we as a country need, not only want, but need some new form of leadership, as it feels like nothing is working. But knowing what you know now, will you be doing more research into Haley or blindly voting because she is a woman? Oh, no. I will most definitely be doing more research this time. Although I have hope and faith that she has good intentions, I refuse to act plainly on gender. Just, it didn't really work out the first time around. Is there any chance you might be swayed away from voting for Haley? That's a good question. I would say there is a chance that I could be swayed, but truly, whether she is a woman or not, I believe she is a better candidate than either Biden or Trump. And I can with confidence say that I will not be swayed to vote for President Biden in any form. Now, why are you so bent against Joe? Well, like I said earlier, the government is very good at hiding things. However, lately I think they have been slipping up a little bit. Although social media allows for false statements to arise, when there are blatant videos and pictures of our current president incapable of grabbing a pen to sign an important document, or even just getting a glaze against his eyes, completely forgetting what he's supposed to say, I feel like there's a little bit of room for concern. And I don't think I'm the only one that thinks like that. And does this have anything to do with you associating with one party over the other? Oh, no, not at all. I have never deemed myself Republican or Democrat, because truthfully, I cannot figure it out for myself. I've never been able to straightforwardly answer that question. I often find myself, caring too much about an actual human being in these circumstances rather than their beliefs or which side or wing they're on or lean towards more. So all in all, just to kind of wrap everything up, what are your final thoughts on voting? And if you could give one piece of advice to listeners, what would that be after getting into it all? I think voting is one of the most important things we can do as citizens, yet I believe it comes with much stress and anxiety, as I stated. Excuse me. However, I also believe there are ways to lessen this stress. One way is to educate yourself, and not just on a surface level. No, go as deep as possible. As deep as you must go so that you don't have any regret for the next 4 years. Furthermore, do not let anyone sway your opinions. Nobody, not your friends, not your parents, not even your significant others. It's important to have conversations with these people, but, you should have your own opinions, and you should stick to those. Your opinions are your opinions. That may sound hypocritical since I'm sitting here sharing all of my opinions with you, but, you get what I mean. Start now. We only have 6 months to decide. 6 months to either start over or continue on this 8-year path that we've been on. I think it's really important to, just stay educated, and I think what we're doing here is a very good way to do that. Well, I appreciate your thoughts and opinions, and I'm glad to have you here today. Thank you so much. No, thank you. Bye, guys. Bye, guys.